Why thinking in English changes everything. Most people try to learn English by translating from their native language. They hear something, think in their own language, translate it into English, and then speak. This process is slow, tiring, and honestly, it kills your fluency. That's why even after years of studying English, many people still hesitate while speaking. The problem is not your vocabulary, it's your thinking process. Here's the real game changer. Fluency comes when you stop translating and start thinking directly in English. Just like you don't translate when speaking your native language, you need to reach a point where English becomes automatic. When your brain starts forming thoughts directly in English, your speaking becomes faster, smoother, and more natural. Now understand this scientifically, your brain builds language through neural patterns. The more you repeat a certain way of thinking, the stronger that pathway becomes. If you keep translating, your brain strengthens the translation loop. But if you start thinking in English, your brain slowly rewires itself to operate directly in English. This is not talent, it's training. In this video, you're going to learn step by step how to train your brain to think in English from zero. No complicated grammar, no boring theory, just practical, real methods that actually work. By the end, you won't just understand English, you'll think in it. Stop translating, kill the biggest habit holding you back. Let's address the biggest problem first, translation. This is the silent killer of fluency. When you think in your native language and then convert it into English, your brain is doing double work. That's why you feel slow, confused, and sometimes even stuck mid-sentence. It's not because you don't know English, it's because your brain is overloaded. Think about it logically. Imagine trying to solve a simple problem, but every step requires an extra unnecessary process. Of course you'll slow down. That's exactly what translation does. It adds a delay between your thoughts and your speech. And in real conversations, even a small delay breaks your confidence. Now here's the shift. You don't need to translate words, you need to understand meaning. Language is not about word-to-word conversion, it's about expressing ideas. For example, instead of thinking, how do I say this sentence in English? Start thinking, what is the simplest way to express this idea in English? This reduces pressure and makes your brain more flexible. Start small. Don't try to eliminate translation completely in one day. That's unrealistic. Begin by noticing when you are translating. Catch yourself in the act. Awareness is the first step. Once you become conscious of this habit, you can slowly replace it with direct thinking. This is the foundation. If you fix this, everything else becomes easier. Start thinking in simple English. Keep it basic. Here's where most people mess up. They try to think in perfect English from day one. That's a trap. Your brain is not struggling because English is hard, it's struggling because you're making it complicated. If you want to train your brain, you need to start with simple thoughts, not complex sentences. Think about how a child learns a language. They don't start with advanced grammar or long sentences. They begin with basic ideas like, I am hungry, I want water, this is good. Your brain works the same way. If you try to jump to high-level English immediately, your brain will resist and fall back to your native language. So here's the strategy. Start thinking in very simple English. Throughout your day, describe what you're doing using basic sentences. For example, I am walking, I am eating, this is my phone, I am feeling tired. It might feel silly at first, but this is exactly how you build the foundation. You're training your brain to form direct English thoughts without translation. And here's the key, don't worry about grammar mistakes at this stage. Your goal is not perfection, your goal is flow. When you focus too much on being correct, your brain freezes. But when you focus on expressing simple ideas, your brain relaxes and learns faster. Fluency is built from simplicity, not complexity. Build a constant English environment, surround your brain. Your brain adapts to whatever environment you put it in. If you are constantly surrounded by your native language, your brain will naturally default to it. So if you want to think in English, you need to force your brain into an English environment. This is not optional, it's necessary. You don't need to move to another country for this. You can create an English environment right where you are. Start by changing your phone language to English. Watch YouTube videos, movies, or podcasts in English. Follow English content on social media. Even if you don't understand everything, your brain is still absorbing patterns, sounds, and structures. Here's what's happening scientifically: your brain is a pattern recognition machine. The more exposure it gets, the more it starts predicting and understanding language automatically. This is how children learn. They don't study grammar rules, they just absorb language through constant exposure. You can do the same, but consciously. Also, start talking to yourself in English. Yes, literally. When you're alone, describe your thoughts, your plans, your actions. This removes social pressure and allows you to practice freely. The more you surround your brain with English, the less effort it takes to think in it. Eventually, English stops feeling like a subject and starts feeling like a natural language. Use daily self-talk. Train your brain 24/7. If you want to think in English fast, you need constant practice, and the easiest way is self-talk. You don't need a partner, a class, or any special setup. Your mind is always active, so you can use it as your personal training ground 24/7. Start narrating your life in English. Whatever you're doing, just talk about it in your mind or even out loud. I need to finish this work, I'm feeling a little tired, what should I eat today? These are real-life thoughts, and practicing them daily makes your brain comfortable forming English sentences naturally. At first, you'll struggle. You might pause, forget words, or feel slow. That's normal. Don't stop. Instead of switching back to your native language, try to express the same idea in simpler English. For example, if you don't know a complex word, break it down into basic words you already know. This builds flexibility in your thinking. Here's the powerful part: self-talk removes fear. When you practice alone, there's no judgment, no embarrassment, no pressure. This allows your brain to experiment, make mistakes, and improve without stress. Over time, this private practice turns into public confidence. Make this a habit. Even 10 to 15 minutes of conscious self-talk daily can create massive improvement. Because consistency beats intensity. The more you use English in your thoughts, the more automatic it becomes. Eventually, you won't even realize when you switched. Your brain will just start thinking in English by default. Build your instant vocabulary, words you actually use. Let's be real, you don't need thousands of fancy English words to think fluently. You only need a core set of words that you use in daily life. Most people make the mistake of memorizing difficult vocabulary that they never actually use. That's inefficient and slows down your thinking. Your brain needs quick access words, simple, common words that come instantly without effort. Words like go, want, need, make, think, feel. These are the building blocks of real communication. When your brain can access these instantly, your thoughts flow naturally without interruption. Here's how to train this. Start identifying words you use daily in your native language. Then learn their English equivalents and practice using them in your thoughts again and again. Repetition is key. The more frequently you use a word, the faster your brain retrieves it. This reduces hesitation and increases speed. Also, focus on phrases, not just individual words. For example, instead of just learning hungry, learn I am hungry. Instead of tired, learn I feel tired. This helps your brain form complete thoughts instead of assembling sentences piece by piece. And remember, fluency is not about using complex vocabulary, it's about using simple words smoothly and confidently. Once your instant vocabulary becomes strong, thinking in English becomes effortless. Think fast, stop waiting for perfect sentences. One major reason you struggle to think in English is because you wait for the perfect sentence. Your brain tries to be grammatically correct, impressive, and accurate at the same time, and that creates delay. Real fluency is not about perfection, it's about speed and clarity. Native speakers also make mistakes, but they keep talking because their focus is on communication, not perfection. You need to train your brain to think fast and imperfect. If a sentence is not perfect, it's fine, as long as the meaning is clear. Instead of pausing to fix grammar in your head, just continue the thought. This builds momentum, and once your brain gets used to continuous thinking, your accuracy will naturally improve over time. A simple technique is to set a timer for 1 to 2 minutes and force yourself to think continuously in English without stopping. No matter what happens, don't switch to your native language. Even if your sentences are broken, keep going. This trains your brain to prioritize flow over correctness. When you stop waiting for perfection, your confidence increases instantly. You realize that communication is possible even with simple, imperfect English. And that's the turning point, because once your brain learns to think fast, fluency becomes natural instead of forced. Consistency over intensity. Make it a daily habit. Training your brain to think in English is not about one intense day of practice. It's about small, daily repetition. Your brain rewires through consistency, not occasional effort. If you practice for hours one day and then skip the next 3 days, your progress slows down. But if you practice even 15 to 20 minutes daily, your brain starts adapting much faster. The key is to integrate English into your routine. Don't treat it like a separate task. Make it part of your life. Think in English while walking, eating, traveling, or even scrolling on your phone. These small moments add up and create continuous exposure. Over time, your brain starts choosing English automatically because it's used more frequently. Also, track your progress. Notice small improvements, faster thinking, fewer pauses, better sentence flow. These are signs that your brain is rewiring. When you see progress, your motivation increases, and you stay consistent. Without tracking, you might feel like nothing is changing, even when it is. Remember this: fluency is a result of habits, not talent. If you stay consistent, improvement is guaranteed. Your brain has no option but to adapt to what you repeatedly do. So keep showing up daily, even if it feels slow, because consistency always wins in the long run. Make English your natural thought process. At this point, you understand the real game. Thinking in English is not about talent, it's about training your brain consistently. You don't need perfect grammar, you don't need a huge vocabulary, and you definitely don't need to wait for confidence. You just need to start thinking in simple English every single day. The more you do it, the more natural it becomes. Remember the core idea: stop translating, keep it simple, use daily self-talk, and stay consistent. These are not complicated techniques, but if you apply them regularly, your brain will slowly rewire itself. One day, you'll realize something powerful: you're thinking in English without even trying. And that's the goal: not forced English, not memorized English, but automatic English. When your thoughts start forming directly in English, your speaking becomes smooth, your confidence increases, and your hesitation disappears. You stop worrying about what to say, and just say it. So don't overthink it. Start today. Even if it feels uncomfortable, even if it feels slow, keep going. Because the moment your brain adapts, everything changes. English stops being a subject, and becomes a part of who you are.